is everything you need to know if you want to gain muscle and lose body fat at the same time, which is also known as body recomp. We used to believe this was only for specific individuals such as beginners, PED users, and people who have spent a long time away from the gym, also known as detrained individuals. However, this is not the case, and it is quite a realistic goal for you to have. Now, when eating in a calorie deficit, it's important to know that protein synthesis will be down-regulated, which effectively means you will build less muscle than if you had more food. However, it is still possible to build muscle. I've helped countless people lose fat, build muscle, and transform their physique through simple, effective training and nutrition. My goal is to make fitness achievable by breaking it down into basic, simple, actionable steps for anyone willing to put in the work. The first thing you're gonna do is figure out your maintenance calories. I left a link down in the description box to a calorie calculator, which is quite accurate and will give you the protein amount required that you're going to need during this phase. Then what you're going to want to do is subtract about 10% off the total maintenance calories. And this will be the amount of calories you're going to adhere to for the foreseeable future. It's a common judgment that you're going to get extremely weak in a calorie deficit or lose strength over time. However, this is far from the truth. You might feel a little fatigue when going deep into a diet phase, and this will not be the case or should not be the case. So having the mindset on going into the gym and getting stronger is going to be important, because the second thing you're going to want to do in this process is train hard, like really hard. Train within close proximity to failure hard. What you're going to want to do is have a system to progressively overload. This is going to be important to continue building strength and growing muscle over this phase. Now, there's a few ways to do this, but mainly what you're going to focus on is increasing either reps or weight during this phase. There is some nuance, and you can progressively overload by getting better with technique. However, it is just simple to focus on beating the amount of reps you get or beating the weight that you did last week. A simple approach to do this is to track your workouts in your notes app on your phone. It is extremely simple, and this is a good example. Now, to know whether you're going to add reps or weight to a specific exercise, what you're going to want to do is, instead of having a rep target, set a rep range per set per exercise. So if you have 2 sets for any given exercise, what you're going to want to do is set a rep range. The rep range might be 6 to 10, 8 to 12, 12 to 14. It doesn't really matter exactly what the rep range is. The main thing we're focusing on is training within close proximity to failure, which is going to stimulate the most growth. If you're doing 6 to 10 reps and you're going to pick a weight that you think you will fail within that rep range. Let's just say an example would be bench press, and you choose about 80 kilos that you think you could get 8 reps for, which is in the rep range you've chosen. If that week you fail within inside that rep range, so you get 8 reps, you can't get 9 and you can't get 10, but you got 8, that is a good thing. That means the next time we're going to come into the gym for that exercise, you're going to want to try to get 9 reps. And then the week after that, you're going to try to get 10 reps. And the week after that, you're going to try to get 11 reps. Once you're outside of the rep range and you get to 11 reps, that's an indication that you're now ready to increase the load on the bar. And now you would probably do 82.5 kilos or 85 kilos. So let's just say for this example, you put on 85 kilos and you only get 6 reps. That is totally fine. It's still a progression in weight. Now what you're going to want to do is progress through the reps again. So you aim for 7 reps the next week, and then you aim for 8. Now, every week's not going to be perfect, and you're not going to progress every single week, but the trajectory should be an increase in reps and weight over time. This is going to lead to fat loss by eating in a calorie deficit and stimulation of the muscle enough to allow it to grow during this phase. The results of growth might be minimal, or they might be a lot, depending on where you're at within your training journey. But this is going to be the best, most effective method for growing whilst simultaneously losing fat. And if you have absolutely no idea where to start, what a calorie deficit is, how to track your macros, I made this video right here, and it explains the process in deep detail.